Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Brogressive. This is officially our 10th episode, so thank you guys for joining us along the way. Hopefully many more to come. Today, Beleh is joining me, and we are going to go over how our playoff picks went last week. Luis and Dylan are not here, but we do have their picks, so we will still be holding them accountable. So we're going to be recapping our picks from last week, seeing who was right. I know I made at least one really good prediction that I'm excited to brag about. But yeah, and then we're going to get into the NFL playoffs this week. We're going to discuss the divisional round and make our picks. Beleh, you went to the game in Texas last week. Chargers, Texans.
Oh,
How was that?
Oh my God, it was devastating. It was really like a gut wrench. I mean, I started laughing at the end because so many funny things were happening. I mean, I went into there like we all picked the Chargers, so and I thought we were gonna win.
I did too. I was surprised.
I think that it was just a disaster. I mean, for example, Dicker the kicker, right? Like one of the things I really laughed at is we scored a touchdown, right? It's like a 2. I think we were down by 14 points afterwards. Could still come back. He like goes for the point after, and it gets blocked in return for 2 points by the Texans. And I just started laughing. I just busted out laughing so hard. It was so funny because like, man, like nothing was going our way. You could tell that like Justin Herbert played an awful game. Like I will admit that he did not play a good game, but the interior O-line actually, like I saw that right in front of me just collapsing. And then he had nobody to throw to besides like Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey had 196 yards, I believe. He was the only receiver to have more than 2 catches. The only wide receiver to have more than 2 catches. And like I had hope for Quentin Johnston. All that hope has been thrown out the window. It's so
some
bad.
Of those drop balls.
He had some crucial ones in the game, and I think that Herbert had 4 interceptions. But after Jordan Love played also horrible, people started talking about Jordan Love. So that really helped out the Broncos getting blown out. So I think that
how was watching that live, like falling apart, surrounded by Texans fans?
They were really nice. I will say the Texans fans, super nice, super hospitable. Like you can feel the Southern hospitality down there. They like one thing about Texan fans that I kind of relate to, because I feel like a lot of Charger fans are similar in that like we don't have the biggest fan bases or like the most diehard fan bases. Like we have a lot of diehard fans in the fan base, but it's not as expansive as, let's say, like the Chiefs now, right? Or even the Raiders. They have like a huge fan base. Texans fans are like a lot more chill. We're like, hey, we're in the playoffs. Let's go watch our team. Very nice fans. Like when we were walking out with like 4 minutes left, they're like, hey, we'll see you guys next year. Like, don't worry about it. Blah blah blah. Super nice fans. I will say like that was the highlight of the game. And it was just such a bad game. Like the Chargers were up 6-0 for like the first quarter. I think for like the first 15 minutes, like it was 6-0. It was just a bad game. And then the Texans were able to get some breaks. And I just think that our defense played well, considering, I think we held the Texans to like 7 or 10 points in the first half. And we had like 3 turnovers. We got 3 turnovers from them. And I don't know what the defense could have done. I mean, Herbert's pick 6 really hurt. But also, like, Will Dissly, he's had his moments. He's our tight end, and he dropped the ball. I think that was the pick 6 where they went and picked it off.
It's pretty hard to win a playoff game or any game with 4 interceptions, regardless of like the rest of the team or the defense.
I think Jared Goff kind of proved otherwise. I mean, 2 of the interceptions were not his fault, and 2 were. I think one of them was like the last 3 minutes. So, like, if you want to count that, I guess we can. I always
think they need to have a different stat. Like, it should be an air versus hit situation. Like, there should be some.
2 were his fault. One of them was he was throwing to Quentin Johnston, and like I blame him for it because why are you throwing to Quentin Johnston? Like, don't throw to him.
True.
Just don't throw to him. Like, look, I want
that many options. Ladd was covered.
Like, you don't. I mean, you have like Ladd 100. Dude, he broke the record for like rookie receiving yards. So Herbert missed him in the beginning for a 75-yard touchdown. If he had gone that, I think Ladd would have been really close to the all-time receiving record. If not, I think he may have broken it. He would have had like 265 yards. It would have been a 75-yard bomb if Herbert hit him in the beginning. Really good. I think he's a slot receiver. And I think, if anything, it kind of just shows that the Chargers need wide receiver help. But instead of developing wide receivers, I think that we need to go out there and just get like a Tee Higgins or like a Garrett Wilson. I really want Tee Higgins.
What about Tyreek? If he becomes available, be
I would love
interesting.
Tyreek. Are you kidding? I don't know how. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a Chargers move to get Tyreek
Yeah,
Hill
it doesn't
though.
feel like
But
hardball
I think
that
that would
much
be
either.
sick. I
But
mean, Tyreek posted on a Snapchat story like some betting odds about him coming to LA. But I really like Tee Higgins. Give Tee Higgins what he wants, and you don't have to worry about wide receiver in the draft. You have Tee Higgins, Ladd, and Quentin Johnson could be the third option. And he does he's really good with catch and run. You throw the ball to him, he can run. He's a big guy. You just can't trust him, and I think that's what this game showed. And I don't know. It was devastating, but at the same time, it was a very humbling experience. I really was high on my Chargers. We went 5-12 last year, 11-6 this year. I'm proud of the team, and I think we're gonna get better. Being in the same division with the Chiefs does suck because I don't foresee us really winning the division next year. But hey, maybe we do. I don't know.
You guys were you were a year early. It wasn't necessarily the expectation to that this was going to be the year. And the fact that you guys went this far anyway, it's a few small changes, a few additions, and I would be scared of the Chargers for the next 5-10 years almost.
I think we'll see. I think you're right about a few additions, but football is so different where you can go 11-6 one year and then go 4-13 now, 4-13 the next year.
True.
It just
you guys are young. You guys are young, and you got Harbaugh. I'd be shocked if there's a big reversion next year.
Yeah, I would be shocked too. I mean, he is a really good coach. I think he's a really good coach, and it wasn't even his team this year. A lot of those players were drafted by Tom Telesco, and the Raiders just fired him. I thought he did a solid job for them in the draft, but we'll see. I think the Raiders are going to get Ben Johnson. Those are the rumors. If I'm Ben, I mean, I get why I want to go to the Raiders. I mean, living in Las Vegas can be cool. They have a lot of cap space. They have a good draft pick, but Chicago is appealing too. I mean, you fix the quarterback situation, you build the O-line, Keenan Allen might leave, but you can draft a receiver, draft some O-line. The defense is solid.
Well, what about Dallas? Do you who do you think
we thought.
Do you think it's going to be Dion?
I don't know because they're keeping Dak, right?
It sounds like it. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know who Dallas gets. With McCarthy.
You know who I thought they should have elevated, but now he's the what's his name? The Commanders coach.
God, I'm blanking, but
Dan Quinn.
Oh yeah, Dan Quinn.
Is that their head coach?
Yes.
He was with Dallas
for a bit.
Yeah, and I thought maybe maybe should have fired what's his name last year and hired and elevated Dan Quinn, give him a second chance after the Falcons. I mean, he had good chemistry with that team. The defense was playing really well. But I don't know. Maybe Jerry Jones will become the coach. Who knows?
He frankly, I mean, he probably already is for the most part.
One thing I do want to say about Texas, I'm really happy I went on the trip. We drove from Dallas to Houston, spent 2 nights in Houston, went to Austin, saw some buddies. Austin is beautiful. I mean, if you have a chance to go to Austin, the state capital is beautiful, and the city's just really cool. It reminds me of California in some ways. It does give you that little hippie vibes, but also the East Coast. And they have so much housing there. I like their housing policies are so much better than California's. But Austin is really cool. And dude, the barbecue in Texas. Okay, look, I'm a California boy. Basically lived here all my life. I gotta admit, dude, Texas barbecue is truly on a different level. It is so good. It is to die for. I don't know if you've ever tried Texas barbecue, but it's so good.
I've been to Texas, but I think the last time I was 8 years old or something.
It's amazing. And the whole Whataburger In-N-Out debate, I'm gonna piss some people off here. I tried Whataburger. It was my second time trying it. First time trying it in Texas. Look, it's solid, but it tastes like fast food. In-N-Out is so much better because you could taste the quality. B, it's cheaper, right? You think that a Texas chain would be cheaper. No, In-N-Out's cheaper because their menu is simplified. It is cheaper. The patty melt meal at Whataburger was 12 or 13. In-N-Out, I can get a meal for $7, $8, A good meal. I will say that In-N-Out has less items on their menu, but the quality is there. It's so fresh. Whataburger was okay. It was solid. I will say they had this honey chicken biscuit. Really good. But please do not compare Whataburger to In-N-Out. That's just not fair. It's like comparing the Chiefs to the Chargers. Come on, guys. In-N-Out is so much better. You could taste the quality. And if you disagree with me, comment down below why. But yeah, by the way, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. Okay, you're just wrong flat out. And you haven't tried In-N-Out. And if you do try In-N-Out, get it animal style. And I have people in the comments be like, well, see, you have to modify your food at In-N-Out for it to be good. No. We have more options. That's
I
what
don't
it's
even
about.
fuck with the animal style, except for I get the animal style for the fries.
The fries,
Get, like with the stuff on it. But no, I do In-N-Out top tier always comes through. Like the floor for In-N-Out is so fucking high. I've never had a bad experience at In-N-Out.
Never ever had a bad experience at In-N-Out. Quality, fresh. I mean, in Texas, dude, to be fair, there's a lot more Whataburgers in In-N-Out, but people are like flocking to In-N-Out in Texas. So
I
like,
didn't even know they have it.
They do. They have a lot now. Like they have a lot now. Yeah. So, I mean, Texans even love In-N-Out. You can't. I know you guys want to hate on California, but In-N-Out over Whataburger any day of the week. Whataburger is still pretty good. I can't lie. The honey chicken biscuit thing was pretty good, but other than that, In-N-Out is so much better. What other games do you want to recap, Ben? I think there was a big one on Monday.
Oh,
you were right about.
I'd love to recap that. Well, before we get into our predictions, I did call the Rams Minnesota game. Rams were, I believe, 9-3 in their last 12 games coming in.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they rested their starters last week, but Minnesota had played basically a playoff game against the Lions, so I was not surprised by the results. I really pissed Luis off so much so that he switched his pick to Minnesota because I predicted that the Rams would win by at least 10. They won by more than that. They were up by more than that.
Did you bet on that, by the way?
I thought I did because you guys told me to, and then I looked and I did not. But yeah, so that was not too shocking to me, but I think I did not expect it to be quite as dominant as it was. And Sam Darnold, just the biggest collapse and probably the most costly collapse I've seen in a long time.
That's what we've been saying.
Over the course of 2 weeks, like going back to that game when he was celebrating a couple weeks ago.
Dude, it looked like they had won the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. And it was like so wholesome, like people were talking about Sam Darnold as one of the
what a comeback
elite quarterbacks. But like more than that, they were like, oh, he's a late bloomer, elite quarterback, like one of the top few in the league. I don't know. He probably cost himself at least $50 million over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he cost himself the contract. I mean, ever since he was seeing ghosts in New York, never bought it.
I somewhat support him, say Company High School grad, but
he went to USC though. Boo.
True. Boo. Indeed. But yeah, so that was an interesting one. The Rams looked real good. I think some of the makes the matchup this week a little more interesting than maybe we would have expected. But
definitely. And I think it's nice that they won, considering what's happening in like Los Angeles. I thought we could pull it through.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I think it was pretty nice.
McVay like flying out the whole team and all their family and everything. Like the energy to have that going in. I'm not surprised they came in with such like force early.
I think every other game kind of went as expected, or
yeah, for the most part. Houston surprised me a little bit, but
that was the Chargers collapsing, dude.
Yes, that surprised me. I did go with Chargers, but when you
the,
look at it, it's
Bills...
not that shocking with some perspective. I mean, Houston was basically where the Chargers were last year, and they're a year ahead. And if I look at it that way, it's not that shocking. So
the Bills crushed the Broncos, like we said they were.
Yeah. So let's go over our picks from last week. And
let's do it.
Who was the most wrong? I'm sure you're looking forward to that. So Dylan came in first place, actually. He is not here. But Dylan came in first place with a 5-1 prediction record.
Wow.
Me and Luis tied for second place. We were both 4-2. And Beleh, I don't blame you as a homer, but Beleh came in last place. He was 2-4 with his predictions.
Wow.
Hope he did not put real money on it, but yeah, unfortunately. So we all picked the Chargers. We were all wrong there. We all picked the Ravens and the Bills. We were all right. Dylan and Luis picked the Eagles. Me and Beleh picked the Packers. They got us there. And then all of us, except for Beleh, picked the Commanders. Beleh went out on a limb. Fortunately, he was brave, but he was wrong.
So close.
The Rams game, me and Dylan correctly predicted the Rams. And then Beleh, his roommate Sam, and Luis was annoyed by my correct Rams -10 take, and it prompted him to change his pick to the Vikings, which ultimately doomed him, and he would have tied for first place if not. So we said there was going to be some mystery punishment for whoever came in last place. So I guess we got to wait a bit. Maybe we'll see over the course. We'll keep adding to the record until the Super Bowl.
Can we reset the record every single week?
Nope.
Dude, no. Because by the time we get to the Super Bowl, oh God,
there's not that many games to make up points, but dude, I believe in you. Beleh, thoughts on the week as a whole? Why do you think your predictions were unfortunately not the most accurate?
Stupid. I'm just dumb.
That's what I was gonna say. But
I'm just kind of dumb. I just kind of went out on a limb. I was like, let me pick the fucking Packers. Let me pick the Vikings. I don't know. God knows. I'm probably going to pick like the Texans over the Chiefs because I don't like the Chiefs. So
I take back what I said about believing you could make up ground, but it's okay.
No, definitely can.
Well, on that note, should we get into our playoff predictions?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the playoffs. You guys can see the matchups here on the screen. We're going to start with Dylan. Dylan is not able to make it because he's in New York right now, but he did send in his picks. So let me read his picks. Oh, Luis is calling me for his picks right now, so we'll start with Luis, actually.
He's out clubbing right now in San Diego.
Hey, Mr. Luis, I know you're clubbing right now, but you're on the podcast. Do you want to give us your picks? Give us your thoughts on the Vikings game first.
Yeah, so I know last episode I changed my pick at the end. Like, logically thinking, which is what I said at first, we were always going to lose that game. That Rams game, we got absolutely destroyed. We got sacked so much, which happened again.
Okay, Luis, real quick. Matchups.
We want your picks for next week.
Chiefs or Texans?
I said the Chiefs were going to go all the way, so I'm sticking with my Chiefs.
Buffalo or Baltimore?
Chiefs, the Devil Magic.
Oh, shit.
Will triumph once again.
The Bills or the Ravens?
Tough one.
This might be the toughest pick, but Lamar Jackson has disappointed me when it matters most in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen, the perfect man.
Okay. Hey, you just got engaged, right, to Haley Steinfeld? Wow.
Yeah, that girl.
Okay, Detroit Lions or the Washington Commanders?
Oh, the Lions for sure.
Okay. And Philadelphia Eagles or the Los Angeles Rams?
The Eagles won't get it done.
Okay.
The tyranny of Matthew Stafford will finally end, and Puka Nacua.
Okay, there you go. Thank you for your picks, sir. Have fun wherever you are right now, and I'm sorry about the Vikings. It's okay. Both of our teams got absolutely crushed. Like, absolutely crushed.
But I think
mine didn't crush earlier.
Absolutely embarrassing. J.J. McCarthy is the future. We need a better O-line. Hey, Brian Flores, fuck the Rams. Good night.
Okay, good night. You can tell he's obviously not mad about the loss.
He's coping.
He's coping. So Luis picked the Chiefs, the Bills, the Lions, the Eagles, basically the higher seeds against their matchups.
He's going with the favorites. Let me check the betting lines, actually. I'm curious. Chiefs are favored by 8. Lions are favored by 9. Eagles are favored by 6. And then the toughest matchup, the betting line agrees, the Ravens actually are 1-point favorites against the Buffalo Bills. In Buffalo.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
1-point favorites. I think last week most of the favorites ended up winning. I guess that should always be the case, but I think Houston was the underdog, still pulled it out with Beleh in attendance. Sadly,
that was actually heartbreaking, dude. I have Dylan's picks here, so let's move on to Dylan. So he said, and I quote, all caps, Rams, baby. Okay. So he's picking the Rams. He's picking the Lions over the Commanders, and he's picking the Chiefs over the Texans, and he's also picking up the Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. So Rams, Lions, Chiefs, Ravens. Those are Dylan's picks. I think that's a little gutsy with the Rams, but you don't know, man. They played really good, and I mean, Jalen Hurts only had like 165 passing yards. I mean, he didn't have to do that much against the Packers defense. I think the Rams defense is better, if I'm not mistaken. But see what happens. Those are Dylan's picks.
All right. Well, I'm marking these down. We're gonna be held accountable. Should I go next, or you want to go?
You go. Let me hear your picks before I do mine.
All right. To start, what we got listed first there. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I don't feel hugely confident about this. The Chiefs are favored by 8. I would assume it's gonna be much closer than that. I would think this is gonna be another Chiefs Black Magic like Luis was saying, but we'll see. I really like that bet. In fact, I'm definitely going to take it. But yeah, I think the Chiefs pull it out, but I would be shocked if it's a dominant win. I expect them to pull one out of a hat again, as is tradition. And yeah, so it should be a fun game at least. Beleh, who do you got? Texans versus Chiefs.
Okay, so I got to pick my nemesis here. I got to pick the Kansas City Chiefs, the divisional rival. I just can't be stupid. Let's get the Chiefs on there.
Real. Yeah. It feels like it's dumb to bet against them at this point. I mean, you might as well.
Yep. Who do you have for the Ravens and the Bills? Oh.
Ravens, Bills, that is really the toughest one. I feel like I could see the argument either way. I think the fact that it's in Buffalo probably puts me over the edge, but I don't know. I'm going to go Ravens here, actually. I'm going to go Ravens. I think the Derrick Henry combo, it kind of felt like all year that like the Ravens almost have like another gear with Lamar and with Derrick Henry at running back that they've kind of been waiting to go into. And I wouldn't be shocked if they just come out and my prediction was right last week. I won't go as high as winning by 10, but I feel like I'll take the adjusted line win by 6 or something. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they come out there and just look dominant. Everyone afterwards immediately like, oh, these are the Super Bowl favorites. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if it's dominant. But also it's really like a 55-45 for me. But I think if it goes to 55, if it goes to the Ravens, I think they're going to win pretty big.
Okay, that's a respectable pick. I got to go with the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be Josh Allen's game. I think he's going to play well. I mean, the Bills defense, I don't think they're going to be able to neutralize Derrick Henry, but I think they're going to be able to perform somewhat well against him. And I think that I just don't know about Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. And I know that's ironic because Justin Herbert hasn't won a playoff game, and I actually really like Lamar. I haven't seen him perform at the level he should for being he's an MVP winner, might get another MVP this year. Pretty interesting. I think I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills here.
Well, I'm glad we have some variance here. There will be some movement in the standings of our predictions.
Ben, what do you think about the Lions, the Commanders game? I think we're going to
Lions, Commanders. That is the one I feel the most confident on. I'm going to go Lions.
Let's say it together. You killed it.
Well, I'm going to go Lions. Apparently, Beleh as well, but
yeah, we're going with the Lions.
I mean, there is the X factor of how are they going to perform coming off the bye. We will see. My Niners last year, it was a little rough. All the playoff games leading up to the Super Bowl, I got kind of shell-shocked early by Green Bay, which honestly kind of is a direct parallel to this year. Green Bay, or Washington, feels a lot like Green Bay did last year. Young quarterback, maybe a year or two early, but I wouldn't be shocked if Washington kind of puts a scare into them early, first half, first quarter, get something going, them coming off the bye week. But I think ultimately the Lions are just too good, and they'll end up winning pretty convincingly.
Yeah. I agree. Lions too. Rams, Eagles game. I'm going to go with the Eagles. What about you?
I'm going to go with the Rams. I think they looked fantastic last week. Saquon is scary, but I don't know. I think Sean McVay is maybe the best coach in the NFL, honestly, and I think he's going to coach a great game, outcoach Sirianni, and I think the Rams, I won't call Rams plus 10 or minus 10 again, but I think they're a scary offense, and they're just like that grizzled veteran team, veteran coach. They've been there before, and they know how to win. Reminds me of the Chiefs a little bit.
We have some variance here. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
and the Rams still. I mean, I think if you take out that last game of the year when they rested their starters, I think they're 10-2 or something in the last 12.
Damn.
Maybe it's 10-3 now, but they're dominant. They're on a roll, and since everyone's been healthy, they've been one of the best teams in the NFL. So I wouldn't be shocked if they keep the run going. Which, by the way, if my prediction's correct, that sets us up for a Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford NFC Championship, which would be pretty fun.
In Detroit. Too. That's what the NFL wants, dude. I think they want.
That is what they want, which you can't underrate.
Yeah, let's see if the script writers are cooking this year.
Yeah, so all of us went with the Chiefs. And then Beleh and Luis went with the Bills. Dylan and me went with the Ravens. And then Luis and Beleh went with the Eagles. And Dylan and I went with the Red Hot Rams coming off the last week. And then I believe we all went with the Lions.
Yeah,
so
all went with the Lions.
Little variance there. We all went with the 1 seeds coming off the bye, but Bills Ravens and then Eagles Rams. That should be interesting games, and I'm excited to see
what happens.
Yeah, who moves up in the standings? The Brogressive Prediction League. We'll see.
You'll be watching this hopefully on a Friday, so you can kind of judge our picks.
No, comment
as
your
they
picks
go on.
below. We'll if anyone comments their picks, we will talk
Giveaway?
about them on the next show. And yeah, maybe we'll
a
give a giveaway if maybe if you guys
get it all
beat us,
right.
we'll see. If you out predict the Brogressive crew, you can do a
Shouldn't
little
be too
giveaway.
hard. Should not be too hard to out.
All right. And then we
us.
did this last week. I'm just curious. I believe you and me and Dylan all had predicted the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl, and Luis had gone with the Chiefs. Obviously, both those teams did not play last week as the 1 seeds, but has anyone impressed you? Anything happened to change that pick, or are you still going Lions?
I'm still going with the Lions. I think, I know I picked the Bills over the Ravens, but I think the Ravens can also make it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like Derrick Henry is just a different animal.
I mean, if he doesn't turn into playoff Lamar and there's they play at the level they've been playing, that wouldn't be a surprise at all. It's just kind of comes down to whether you think they can keep playing at that level.
Definitely. But yeah, those are our predictions. Let's see if I can move up a little bit so I don't have to receive the horrible punishment that I know I'm going to receive.
Well, how's it going at UCLA? How are the fires? Are you guys evacuated for a bit?
Classes went online. No official evacuation order, but I mean, they're getting better, hopefully. I know some of them are almost at 100% containment. The Palisades one, that's the really bad one. I think it's around 20% containment. It looks like it's not spreading as much anymore. Still, so sad for all the families who have lost basically everything. And I just, those are the firefighters, the first responders. I mean, so much help. We've been receiving so much help. I know Nevada has sent people, Oregon, Canada, Mexico. I know Japan just donated, I think, $2 million. So a lot of destruction out there. And I do want to say one thing that does relate with politics. I know that Republicans in Congress are talking about conditioning aid to California, basically putting strings and requirements for Los Angeles to receive funding to recover. And I just think that's such a stupid, dumb idea. First of all, you're turning this moment where so many families have lost everything into a political moment, and that's sad itself. But also, remember that Democrats will eventually take over Congress. And when they do, and let's say Florida has another hurricane, or Louisiana is dealing with something, Mike Johnson, Democrats might do the same thing. And guess what? I'll feel really bad for the people, but I'm not going to feel bad for the elected officials. So I think it's such a stupid political move talking about putting strings and requirements to aid, conditioning the aid when so many people have lost everything. It's frankly disgusting. And remember that Democrats will eventually take back Congress and they could do the same thing. And we're going to be in this cycle over and over. And you guys started it. So I think just drop that bullshit and help people.
I totally agree. And I think, yes, Democrats are going to take back power, and they could do it, but I don't think they will. And people talk about all the time, the double standard with Democrats and Republicans with California and New York and Chicago. They're constantly shitting on these states. Detroit, Trump famously during this election, calling it a shithole, just saying the people there suck. All these things that Democrats could never get away with. If we were talking shit about West Virginia,
Exactly.
the heroin, people on the streets, it feels like zombies. We would never talk like that. And I think they would get the media would hold them more accountable for talking like that. So for the fair response would be to do the same thing with Florida when we get back in power. But I think if Democrats attempted to do that, they were get rid of the don't say gay bill or you're not getting this aid money. I think the media would completely flame them. They're just so much lower standards for the Republicans. So I do not think Democrats would do the same in the same position, let alone because they are more moral and more actually value institutions and their role. So, but yeah, best wishes to everyone experiencing the apocalyptic situation in Los Angeles right now. Hopefully there are not strings attached to this aid money. Also, I have another rant, Beleh, to build off yours. I fucking hate how there's the discourse around the $750 or whatever dollars that Biden has approved for this, for the fire victims or everything. There is this discourse after every single natural disaster. I remember with the North Carolina hurricane, it was a big thing. And it's literally the maximum amount of money that is allowed in the beginning process, by FEMA or whatever. It's the maximum amount of money they can give by law. Obviously, he's giving it. But every single time there's this discourse where people are like, oh, billions of dollars for Ukraine, but no money for the people back home suffering. And it's ridiculous. But what drives me insane is the accounts posting it. They post it every time. I don't understand how they never ask themselves the question of like, what is a possible explanation besides, oh, these people are just evil? And they never even attempt to do that. Like, maybe if it's always a controversy, maybe Biden's not just like personally choosing to inflict harm on himself politically by not giving money. Like, obviously he wouldn't do that. So these people should know better. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do, and they're just in bad faith. But it drives me insane every time. Anyway, this has been the 10th episode of Brogressive. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your support over the last month or so since we started this. We're really excited. We have some very exciting guests coming up soon. Last episode, we had Bakari Sellers. That was Beleh and Dylan did that interview. I was not able to be there, but I thought it was fantastic. Really interesting. Bakari had a lot of really interesting points that he made. And I think it's just like a great discussion. So 30-minute interview. Check that out if you haven't already, and stay tuned because we're gonna have a lot of fun episodes coming up. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Stay safe.